Hello and welcome to this online marriage and the family course. I'm David Hester and I will be your lecturer for this 8 weeks. And I'm glad that you have chosen to take this course. I think that you will enjoy it and you will get much out of it. And this video is designed to introduce you to what we're going to be doing this 8 weeks. And it's very important that you watch this entire video all the way through because I'm going to go through everything that you need to know. Every question that you will want to have answered, I hope to be able to answer it by means of this video. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first. My name is David Hester. I'm a lecturer here at Faulkner University in both the College of Biblical Studies and also the Curley Graduate School of Theology. I'm also the director of the Faulkner Lectures, which, by the way, the Faulkner Lectures are just around the corner, March 3rd through the 7th. And if you are on campus, of course, we expect you to be a part of the lectureship, but also if you're off campus, we would hope that you would take time to come and be a part of our program at least one day during that week. That will be March 3rd through the 7th, and we have a very good lineup of speakers and topics that are going to be covered under the general theme of Restore. We're going to have a student lecture program on Wednesday afternoon. And so we're excited about that as well. We hope that you'll be able to come and be a part of that program. But I've been married for 30 years as of this past December 17th. My wife Brenda and I marked our 30th wedding anniversary, and we have two sons. William is a preacher up in Skullbone, Tennessee. Now, you may ask yourself, where is Skullbone? Skullbone is outside of Bradford. You say, where's Bradford? It's outside of Milan. Where's Milan? It's north of Jackson, Tennessee. Perhaps you've heard of Jackson, Tennessee. It's up in that region. He preaches at the Pleasant View congregation, a very good congregation of Churches of Christ, and he is doing a good job up there in his capacity. He and Sarah, his wife, have just had their first son, our first grandson, and yes, he's the best looking grandson that you've ever seen in your life. I don't care who has told you different. We've got the best looking grandson. His name is Lance Timothy Hester, and he's just a bundle of joy, and we're really, really glad that he came into this world safe and sound, and we're just loving every minute that we spend with him. Our youngest son, Jonathan, he works along with Governor Kay Ivey. He was her field director for the 2018 gubernatorial campaign. Of course, she won a great victory in November of last year, and he is involved, as I record this, he is involved with the inaugural committee over events and production. And so he's very busy with her. Hopefully he'll have, after the inauguration, a very good job close alongside Governor Ivey for the next 4 years. So we're glad for him. He and his girlfriend, or actually his fiancee, let me get that right. He and his fiancee, Bree Pedigo, are going to be married in May of this year, May 25th, and I will be honored to perform the ceremony for them and get them married over in Mississippi. That's a central location for everybody, for family and friends, and they're going to be married in Columbus, Mississippi, May 25th. So that's a very exciting time for our family as well. I am the Education and Involvement Minister at the Eastern Meadows Church of Christ here in Montgomery on Vaughn Road. If you don't have a regular place of worship and you're living here in Montgomery, we hope that you'll come and visit us. We'll treat you so many ways you're bound to like a few of them, and so we hope that you'll come for that. Steve Housley is our preacher. He's been there since 1987, doing a fantastic work as the preacher there at Eastern Meadows, and you will love it if you come and visit us just once. You'll be really taken in by the hospitality and the warm fellowship that we have in the congregation. And let's see what else. And my wife, Brenda, is a retired speech pathologist. She was in the school system for many years and loves the work as far as being a speech therapist, but the paperwork really got to her and the administrative parts of it, and she decided it was time to retire, and she did. and she's enjoying retirement. And so we live here in Montgomery, and really enjoying the time that we are spending down here in this region of Alabama. At any rate, this class is on marriage and family relations, and I hope that you have access to your syllabus. You have access to the Blackboard class site so if you will bring that up on your screen, if you have, of course, you are watching this via computer. If you can bring up the Blackboard class site, then what I encourage you to do is click into syllabus, and policies. On the left-hand column, there's a menu. Begins Read Me First, Instructor Contact, Announcements, Syllabus and Policies, Course Content, Assignments, Discussion Board, Tools, Grade, Support, and Faulkner website. So click into Syllabus and Policies. You will see, once you click into that, on the top of that page, the word Syllabus. Click on the link underneath Syllabus. You see the word Syllabus? It says Attached Files. Click on the link Syllabus Online MF Spring 2019 Module 1. When you click into that, it will open up the syllabus. That's what we're going to be doing for the majority of the time that we spend in this video. I'm going to be going through this syllabus, explaining different sections of it. We're going to be going through all of the assignments that you're going to have in this class. We're going to be looking at the textbook briefly, and all of this hopefully will answer the questions that you have. After you watch this video, please send me an email that you have watched it. I need confirmation that you have watched this video. If I don't receive confirmation that you've watched this video, I will know that you have not watched the video. And so when you ask questions later on that we've covered in the video, guess what? I'll know you didn't watch the video, because we'll have answered those questions. It's not wrong to ask questions. I'm not saying that you don't ask questions. Please, if you have questions, you need to ask them. But if you ask questions that are addressed in the video, it's a little bit redundant. So watch the video, please, all the way through, because we will go through just about every question that you have concerning this class. So as we look at the syllabus, I am looking at my other screen here. Syllabus 3311, BI 3311, Marriage and Family Relations. The catalog description of this course is a study of mate selection, how to have a successful marriage, and principles of parenting taught from the biblical perspective. That's, of course, what we emphasize. At Faulkner, both on undergraduate and graduate, we emphasize what the Bible says. The Bible alone is our authority in all things religious, and it is our authority in all things concerning marriage and the family. And so that is the number one priority that we have. And then major sociological trends and problems that impact marriage and family relations in Western society will also be observed. That will be done via the textbook that we'll be talking about here momentarily. The textbook is excellent, and it goes through all of the different problems and strengths and weaknesses that we see in Western society as it concerns marriage. So as we go down through the syllabus, we come to page 2. The purpose of the course is to acquaint the student with what the Bible teaches regarding the origin and purpose of marriage, and to study current research that will help the student prepare for a successful marriage. That's what my intent is to help you have a successful marriage. Perhaps some of you are married that are taking this course. You already have some experience in marriage and family relations. Perhaps you have children in that marriage, and you're wanting to possibly learn how to be a better husband or a better wife or a better father or a better mother. That's what I hope to be able to do for you. And if you are single, you've never been married, then what I hope that this course brings to you is that you are able to select the right person. Notice I said the right person, not just any person. The right person. Did you know that who you marry, the decision as to who you marry, is the second most important decision you will make in your life? Now you might say, what's the most important decision? The most important decision, quite obviously, is becoming a Christian, the way the Bible says. That is, obeying the gospel as revealed in the New Testament, becoming a child of God. That's the most important decision you'll ever make in your life. The second most important decision is who you marry, because that will have a great impact on you and your family for the rest of your life. So we hope to be able to help you to do that. Structure of the course. Very important that you read this. Since this is an 8-week online course, it is structured differently from a regular face-to-face full semester class. All of the assignments will be posted on the Blackboard class site. Let me stress that. All of the assignments will be posted on the Blackboard class site, and all communication by the lecturer will be via email. Did you catch that? All, and I mean all communication, will be done via email. I do not communicate via telephone calls. Now, you can call my office if you have an emergency situation in connection with the class, and I'll be able to get your message. But the quickest and best form of communication by far is by email. And I'll be saying more about that momentarily. That's vital. It's vital that you read every email that I send you. And we'll be talking more about that here shortly. The student is expected to keep up with his or her assignments and to turn them in on time. This is vital that you do this. You are the one responsible for your assignments. You are the one responsible to turn in those assignments on time, because if you don't, because of the structure of this course, it's 8 weeks, it's not full semester. Because of the structure of this course, we have hard deadlines. Hard deadlines. So if you turn in an assignment late, you're going to have points counted off. And when it comes to the discussion board, which we'll be talking about shortly, it's vital that you get those discussion board replies in before they are due. Because if you don't, points begin to come off. And the longer you wait to turn in the discussion board questions, the more points come off. So be very aware of that. So, discussion board questions are designed to facilitate discussion between the students. That's really what it's there for. I pose a question, you answer the question, and then you interact with other students' reactions. And it's not just a good post, bro, or really agree with that. You did a great job. No, that's not the reply that I'm wanting. What I'm wanting is you to interact, comment. If you agree, say why you agree. If you disagree, say why you disagree. Be fair to each other. Be cordial to each other. Be respectful to each other. And have a good conversation. Because that's the way that you will be able to interact in this class, is through the discussion board. Very important means of communication with you and the rest of your classmates. So, the 3 to 5 page essay, and yes, I'll be talking more about that momentarily. The 3 to 5 page essay is not a research paper. Notice, it's not a research paper. It is to get the student to think through the question of what it takes to be a good spouse, and also to help the student express his or her thoughts in a grammatically correct, clear manner. Let me stress that again. A grammatically correct. Grammatically correct, clear manner. The reason why I'm emphasizing that is because that's the main standard of grading for the essay. Now, the discussion board, I'll let grammatical errors slide. That's a discussion board. This, however, this essay is a paper. It's not a research paper, but it is a paper. So I'm going to be grading it on grammatics. And we'll talk about that more here in a moment. Course objectives. First, to demonstrate an appreciation of the Bible as God's blueprint for marriage. This will be evaluated by the online questions covering selected biblical passages. Now you may ask, where's the online questions? Click into course content. When you click into course content, scroll down past all those reading questions, and I'll be saying more about that shortly. You'll find what is called biblical text questions. About halfway down the page of course content, it says biblical text questions. There's a link below it that says biblical text study questions. You click into that and it will open up a PDF document, a PDF of biblical text questions. You are to answer those questions. And I would prefer that you include the questions when you put your answers on your what you turn in, so I know which question goes with which answer. Also, make sure on every assignment you turn in that you put your name somewhere on it, on the top or the bottom or wherever. Make sure you've got your name on it when you would turn it in. So the biblical text questions evaluate that as far as demonstrating appreciation of the Bible as God's blueprint of marriage. Second, to identify the meaning and purpose of marriage according to the Bible. This will be evaluated by the online questions covering selected biblical passages. And by the way, those questions cover both Old Testament and New Testament. So it's a very thorough document. It was drawn up by the late one of the founders of the marriage and the marriage and the family wing of the College of Biblical Studies, and I still use those questions. He did a very good job in compiling them, and we still use those, or I still use those in teaching this class. All right, third course objective, point C. To articulate attitudes and attributes that will make one more mature and marriageable. This will be evaluated by the 3 to 5 page essay and the discussion board questions. Now, you talk about the essay. What are you talking about? Again, you're in course content on the Blackboard class site. You're already down to that biblical text questions. Underneath biblical text questions, there is essay rubric. You see essay rubric. And underneath that, there's a link that you click into that says essay rubric. Once you click into that link, it will open up the document. It says essay rubric. It has levels of achievement on top. Novice, competent, and proficient. Criteria on the left-hand column. Formatting, organization, grammar. So, that essay rubric tells you everything you need to know about what you need to do on your essay. If you want to get full credit for your essay, you need to have it double spaced. Please double space your essay. I have received essays turned in that were single spaced and center margined. No. Double spaced. Left-hand margin, even though I don't have that on this essay, it should be assumed that it's left-hand margin. 12 font. Please use 12 font. Times New Roman. Please use Times New Roman font. 3 to 5 pages in length. And when I say 3 pages, I'm meaning 3 full pages. Not 2.5, not 2 3/4, not 2, at least 3. At least 3. And the length, try not to go too far out from 5. In other words, if you go 6 or 7 pages, that's okay. Try not to go anywhere more than that because I would prefer you keep it as brief as possible. But 3 to 5 pages, hard minimum of 3. I really am a stickler for that. So 3 full pages, please. Double space, 12 font, Times New Roman. Now, organization, you address the question. That is, what does it take to be a good spouse? Give both sides of the question. Now, what does that mean? Usually that means that there's a question, you have 2 sides to the issue. But on this one, you really don't have 2 sides to the issue unless you want to cover it from both the husband and the wife's side. If you want to do that, you can. So giving both sides of the question really doesn't apply to your essay. If you want to write from the wife's perspective and you're a boy, or a boy, you're a man, then by all means do that. If you want to write from the husband's perspective and you're a woman, you can do that. It's your choice. I'm not really a stickler for that. Then give your opinion concerning the question. What do you think it takes to be a good spouse? I want to know what you think. You can draw on your family experience. I've had several good papers turned in to me in the past where the student will write about his grandparents or his parents, and maybe the way that they conducted themselves has influenced them in a great extent to be the kind of person they need to be in a marriage. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe what they've seen in their family has caused them to realize that's not what I want to do. I know that's not the way to be a good spouse, and I want to do this because what the Bible says. You can do it from that perspective. It's your choice. You choose how you want to give your opinion concerning the question. Then grammar. Oh yes, grammar, grammar, grammar. No persistent spelling errors or grammar errors. If you have misspelled words all the way through your document, it's going to hurt you. 2, no run-on sentences or sentence fragments. Oh boy. That's 1 or 2 of the most common errors in essays, and those are major, major, major errors. I count off heavily for run-on sentences, and I count off heavily for sentence fragments. You say, what's a run-on sentence? Google it. What's a sentence fragment? Google it. You'll see examples of it. Please, please, please don't have run-on sentences or sentence fragments. 3, sentences are clearly understandable. Overall thoughts fit together and make sense. Be clear in what you're saying is what I'm telling you there. By the way, in connection with the run-on sentences, a lot of times a run-on sentence can be fixed if you put a colon right where the sentence break should be, or a comma, or just you break it into 2 sentences. Use this part of it as 1 sentence and then turn this into a sentence. There's ways to fix things easily on run-on sentences where you don't have them. So make sure that you do that. So that's what I expect on your essay. And just make sure that you have, if you need to, another set of eyes to look at your essay. If there's somebody that you trust who is good in grammar and that you want to have take a look at your essay, by all means do that. That's one way of catching things that you may not catch. So make sure that you do that. Okay, back to the syllabus. The discussion board questions, all right? You go to the Blackboard class site. You click into discussion board. As it stands right now, well, as I'm looking at it, there's no items found. I don't have anything created yet. By the time you watch this video, there's probably going to be 1 discussion board question that will be up. And that discussion board question is going to be telling a little bit about yourself, what you expect out of this course, to get you to converse with the rest of your students. Giving a brief biography, in other words, of you, and then saying what you expect to get out of the class. And I expect you to answer that, because I'm going to emphasize this again. The discussion board questions, which there's a total of 5, including the introductory discussion board where you introduce yourself. And then there's 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Discussion board 1, discussion board 2, discussion board 3, discussion board 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 count on your grade. All 5 of the discussion board questions count on your attendance. Because this is an online class and it's 8 weeks, then attendance is taken by you responding to these discussion board questions for the first 5 weeks. Now, after the first 5 weeks, when after the last discussion board question is posed, then attendance, as it is taken by the assignments that you turn in at the latter end of the 8 weeks. That makes sense? It's so important that you answer each of those questions on time so that you won't be counted late or counted absent. Apologize. Counted absent. If you don't answer that first discussion board question, it's not going to count off on your grade, but you're going to be counted absent. If you don't answer that second discussion board question, you're going to be having problems with admissions and the registrar, because your name's going to get turned in as a no-show. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to have that headache. So make sure that you answer, especially those, it's really important, those first 2 discussion board questions. Discussion board 1, 2, 3, and 4 count on your grade. Okay? So that's the way this is structured. It has to be this way because of the nature of the class being online. Okay. Number 4, point D, under course objectives. To consider the importance of building a marriage relationship on love and integrity. This will be evaluated by the online questions. We go back over to course content. Covering the textbook by Nick and Nancy Stennett. Now, when you go into course content, when you first open up course content, you will see Chapter 1 reading questions, Chapter 2 reading questions, Chapter 3 reading questions, all the way down to Chapter 17 reading questions. Those reading questions cover your textbook. This is your textbook by Nick and Nancy Stennett. Intimate Relationships, Marriages, and Families. Let me hold this a bit closer so you can get a good look at it. This is the instructor's edition, obviously. This is the 9th edition. Let me get this up close to the camera so you can see that. It's the 9th edition. It's actually Nick and Nancy Stennett, Mary Kay DeGeneva, and F. Philip Rice. This is published by Oxford. The 9th edition is what you need. Intimate Relationships, Marriages, and Families. Please get this book as soon as you can. I understand that some of you might not be able to get this book immediately. You may have to wait a little bit for the funds to be available for you to purchase the book. I understand that. But you need to get this as soon as you can so you won't really get way behind as far as getting the assignment done that is connected with this book. This book is one of the best textbooks I've ever seen. That's not the Bible. One of the best human textbooks I've ever seen on the subject of marriage and the family. It covers every question you could possibly have sociologically, every question that you could possibly have psychologically, every question that you could possibly have emotionally about marriage and family relations, and about dating, I should say. If you're dating, and a lot of you are, hopefully this book will have something to say about that. You will enjoy this. You'll enjoy this book. It's not written at a level where it's just way above your head. You can't understand it. You can understand this book. You may not agree with everything the Stennett say. I don't. But in general, I think this is an outstanding work that they have put together, and we're going to be saying a little bit more about that book later. Okay, so the reading questions. The reading questions cover each chapter. You are to answer every question in those documents. Okay? Chapters 1 through 17. Make sure you follow the instructions. There are clear instructions on each of those reading question sheets. Make sure you follow those instructions and answer the questions the way I ask you to answer them, okay? Make sure you do that because it's very important. Each of these Chapter 1 reading questions is worth 55 points. Chapter 2 is worth 66. Then from chapter 3 through chapter 17, each of them are worth 50 points. And it's broken down. You have a breakdown of the points total. So each of those segments of those question sheets are very important for you to answer. To get full credit, you need to make sure that you follow the instructions clearly. All right, back to the course objectives. Then point number 5, point E, to integrate strategies that lead to strong marriages. This will be examined by the final exam. Again, we look at assignments on the Blackboard class site. And you'll see biblical passage questions, essay on how to be a good spouse, final exam. Now that's where you turn in the final exam under assignments. All these segments under assignments, this is where you turn in all of your assignments, except for the discussion board. You'll see a place to turn in each one of them. And please, please, please turn your assignments in via Word document. Don't turn it in by zip file. Please don't. Turn it in directly into the assignments in Word format. Okay? Please. It helps me out. It makes it a lot easier for me to be able to open it up and read it. So this is where you turn in the final exam. You will not find the final exam anywhere on the class site. It's not there. I don't know how many times I've had students that will email me about midway through the course, and I'll say, Dr. Hester, I'm not finding the final exam. Where is it? Well, you did not watch the video if you say that to me. I'm telling you that the final exam is nowhere to be found on the Blackboard class site. And I will explain to you how you will receive the final exam momentarily. So just keep watching, okay? Course premise, philosophy, and methodology. This is page 2 of our syllabus. Marriage is God's idea. He has provided us His plan for successful marriage in His Word. Our primary emphasis in this course will be to better understand God's plan and how that plan translates into daily life. Deciding whom to marry and when to marry have eternal ramifications. Well, have you thought of it in that way before? Deciding whom to marry and when to marry have eternal ramifications. The person you decide to marry can determine whether or not you're going to go to heaven. Is that getting serious? Oh, you better believe it. This is not something you can just enter into lightly. This is not something that you can just decide to do or not to do. Too many people approach it that way. This is the second most important decision you will ever make in your life. You better get this right. You better get this right. Deciding whom to marry and when to marry have eternal ramifications, so all of us in this class should give proper priority to our study together. This class is so important, and I hope that you take it just as seriously as I do. Comments, questions, and helpful ideas from students will be encouraged by the instructor. Email, please. Email for everything. I promise you, I am constantly checking my email. I'm constantly looking on here. And I'm seeing right here, get 50% off on demand in Redbox. Anyway, I'm a little bit weird on some things. You'll see me go off into tangents like that. Anyway, I wish I could teach y'all directly because you'd see a lot more of this kind of thing. Anyway, getting back to what I was trying to say. I'm constantly checking this infernal thing, this iPhone, because I have to check my email. Law inbox. See that? Yeah. I'm checking it all the time. All the time. And so when you send me an email, I will respond. I promise you, I will respond. So make sure, if you have a question or comment, that you send it to me via email, and I will respond to you as quickly as is humanly possible. and we'll have communication that way. All right. Netiquette expectations. There are certain guidelines, because this is an online course, that must be followed in email or discussion board communication. Have the address to the netiquette policy. It's also on the class site, by the way. Course policies. I have the links to all the standard eCampus policies on integrity, online attendance, online grievance, online incomplete, online technical requirements, and I also have that posted on the Blackboard class site. So, content outline, generally speaking, preparation for marriage, God's plan, selection of a mate, what the Bible says about sex and sexual relations in marriage, and the best available research and concepts on marriage success. That is covered, by and large, in this textbook and by what you're going to be studying for the final exam. Okay, the resources. Required textbooks, the Bible, obviously. The textbook by the Stennetts, DeGeneva and Rice, Intimate Relationships, Marriage, and Families, by Oxford Press, and the ISBN number is provided in the syllabus where you can order it. Selected material from me, from David Hester, on the Blackboard website. You go to course content, and down, after you scroll down through the reading questions and the biblical text questions and the essay rubric, you'll find 3 documents. Does your home abide in the doctrine of Christ? The Bible in the home, and what have they seen in thine house? Those are actually PowerPoint presentations. Those PowerPoints are what the final exam are based upon. Does your home abide in the doctrine of Christ? The Bible in the home, and what have they seen in thine house? That is what the final exam is based on. We'll say more about that momentarily. Then I have suggested resources, research help 24/7, ask a librarian, reference assistance. All right. Course requirements and evaluation. Formal assessment. Online questions. We've already gone over the online questions concerning the textbook and selected biblical passages that pertain to marriage. These documents are not a test. It's open book to ensure that you're reading the material. In order to receive an A, you have to receive 90% or have answer correctly 90% of the questions. The essay. We've already talked about it. 3 to 5 page double-spaced essay on the topic, what does it take to be a good spouse? You must meet the requirements of the rubric that's posted under course content on the Blackboard class site. Discussion board. There will be 4 questions posted during the 8 weeks. That is, as I've already mentioned, the 4 discussion board questions that count as a grade. Students are required to answer them and engage in discussion via this method. In order to make an A, the student must respond in a 6 to 8 sentence paragraph to each question and reply to at least 3 fellow students in each thread. So make sure you follow those instructions and you'll do fine on the discussion board. Final exam covers specific questions from PowerPoint material. That is, does your home abide in the doctrine of Christ, the Bible in the home, what have they seen in thine house? The format will include true, false, and multiple choice items. It's open notes test. Okay? Open notes test. In order to make an A on the assignment, you must answer correctly 90% of the questions. So, determination of the final grade will be based on the final exam, online questions, the essay, and discussion board questions. When grades are averaged, I will round to the nearest whole number. I will not give a point when averaging scores. That is, if it's 0.3 or 0.4 instead of 0.5, I'm not going to give you that next point. It's got to be at least 0.5 or above for you to receive that next point. The following scale used: 90 to 100A, 80 to 89B, and so on down the line. I expect everybody to get an A in this class, by the way. I have faith in you. Then I have unit level weekly objectives to help you maybe plan out how you're going to approach this course. I realize that many of you have several other courses that you're taking. You've got to try to make sure you have your time managed properly. And this is simply a suggested way of being able to manage your time concerning the weekly objectives. Then the course calendar. Since this is an online 8-week course, bottom of page 5, the deadlines are different from the traditional semester course. Thus, it is even more imperative that you take responsibility to turn in all work on time. There are no weekly due dates except for the discussion board questions. As I've already mentioned, the first 5 weeks of the 8 weeks, you'll have one discussion board question each week. Okay? Now, when are those due? Those discussion board questions are due on the Friday. No, hold on. Nix that. They'll be due on the Sunday night following the time that it was posted. So, here's what I mean. I will post the discussion board questions on Monday of each week. Okay? Monday morning. You'll see a discussion board question at some point during that morning. It will be due, the answer, the reply to that discussion board question will be due at 5 o'clock the next Sunday afternoon. Okay? You'll have almost a full week to respond. So, the discussion board questions are due the following Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock after it's posted. If you wait after the due date to post your response, you will be counted off. And the longer you wait, the more points will be counted off. So if you wait until the 6th week to post your response to the first discussion board question that's graded, you're not going to receive much of a credit. So make sure you get those discussion board questions turned in on time. All right. All other work is due by the date specified below. You may turn in your work, though, at any point before the due dates. So if you have the question, do these questions on the textbook and the biblical study questions, are they due each week? No, they're not. They're due on the dates that are specified that we'll go over here momentarily. All work is to be submitted through the Blackboard site under the assignments section. I will not accept any work by email. None. Don't send it to me. Okay? Don't send any emailed assignments. I will not accept it. It's got to be through the Blackboard class site. Now, if you accidentally submit the wrong assignment in the wrong place, let me know right then, and I'll be more than glad to clear that attempt and let you resubmit. So make sure that you let me know if you have a problem. It is if you, by mistake, submit a blank document in one of the places where a chapter, one of the chapter assignments is to go. I'll be more than happy to go in and delete that you may go back in to resubmit the completed assignment. So I don't have any problem at all doing that. Let me know, though, so I'll be aware of it so I can take care of it. Okay. If you have issues, contact me. I'll be happy to help as much as I possibly can, unless it's a technical issue, and then you may have to contact the tech guys here, EFC here on campus. All right, due dates. Due dates. February 15th, my birthday. Oh. February 15th. Your essay is due by 5 o'clock. What a birthday present for me, huh? All the essays coming in on my birthday. Oh, that's all right. Anyway, that's when the essays are due. The essay, I'm not singular, essay. Essays due February 15th by 5. Answers to the online questions, both the textbook and the biblical study questions, answers to online questions due on February the 22nd at 5 o'clock. Make sure you get that turned in. And then March 1st at 5, the final exam is due. Now notice, beside that I say, the final exam will be emailed to you a week ahead of the due date. Make note of that, please. The final exam will be emailed to you a week ahead of the due date. It will be open notes. So if I receive an email from you saying, "Where's the final exam? I can't find it." Guess what? You either have not watched the video or you haven't paid attention. I say that with love. Final exam sent to you by email. You have a week to turn it in. So make sure that you do that based on the PowerPoints. Remember, the PowerPoint presentations that I have supplied in course content on the Blackboard site. Contact information, my email is given there. That's the best way of contacting me. dhester@faulkner.edu. If you do not have your email address set up, your email account set up through Faulkner, then by all means, please do that now. I will not accept communication by any other email account. I will not send emails to other email accounts besides your Faulkner email account. Okay? That's the only way you'll know anything from me is by Faulkner email. That's how we communicate in this university, is by Faulkner email. Make sure you've got that done, and make sure you keep tabs on that whenever I send them something to you. My office is Harris Parker 234, second floor of the Harris Parker building, room 234. I don't keep firm office hours as yet, but I'm here normally on Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the mornings because I teach a class on campus. So if you want to come and say hello or have a concern that you want to address in person, then you can come to my office, room 234. And the phone number for the office is listed there. But again, the best way to contact me, the best way is by email. Did I say it's the best way? Of course. I'm being silly now, right? Of course. Well, this class is certainly not silly. This class is very, very important. And I hope that you will take it just as seriously as I've tried to convey it to you. And as I say, I think that everybody's going to make a good grade in this class. And I hope that you will take away something that will help you, if you are married, to have a better marriage. If you have not yet married, to find the right person. And if you have found the right person, that you and your mate will have a great marriage. So, any questions or comments or snide remarks, you can feel free to contact me and I will address those the best way that I possibly can. I hope that you have a good 8 weeks, and we'll see you later. Thanks.